All right, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. We're back live with Elizabeth Austin, and I am Nick Good of the Good Home Team. If you can hear us, go ahead and type the word L if you're watching live in the comments down below. We just also want to make sure that you can hear us and see us clearly. And today we are going to be talking about back to school and what that does to the market, and is there a power shift going on between sellers and buyers? So, Elizabeth, with school back in session, typically what we found over the past 10 years of selling, even longer than that, but really when we really break it down, we start to feel a little bit of a slowdown, or at least a dip in showings during this time frame, right?
Yep. Yeah, so we're experiencing that again this year, which is pretty standard, nothing typically to be too alarmed with, but when you're looking at timing to sell your house, it's definitely something you probably want to take into consideration. So across the listings that we have active right now, I think we could all say that showings have slowed down a little bit. And I mean, we'll probably see the pickup in that happen here just in the next few weeks, because this is really that big week. People are going back to school, but I'm not worried that it's going to last too long just because of how great interest rates are for those buyers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do know, I just got back in town from vacation, and driving in the office this morning, I'm like, holy crap.
Oh yeah, it's traffic.
Yeah, the traffic is awful.
It is.
So that's the only thing that I miss about the summer months. I like when my kids go back to school, and then it's calm and everything's back in routine. But with this kind of slowdown, what we don't want to do is have our current clients freaking out of like, oh, our house is never going to sell. Or if you're in a position that you do need to sell and you think that you missed that window, what is the best way that we advise our clients, especially ones that we currently have now on the market?
Absolutely. So we've kind of talked about this before, but I can't stress how crucial it is. Price, location, condition, they all have to match the market. So we are not in a position, because we have so much more inventory on the market. Days on the market are longer overall for the sellers because inventory's up. You don't have that luxury anymore of trying to price high to get the absolute top of the market. You really need to make sure that your price matches the location of your home in your neighborhood, in the city that you're in, the condition of your home, the upgrades that you have. That really needs to match, and it needs to be priced right. I am not sitting here talking about a strategy of underpricing. That is that some people take. There's something to be said for it. Most importantly, just pricing at, and not being so concerned with, well, we don't have room to negotiate down, because consumers are smart. They know past sales overall. They have an agent who can give them past sales. So when you see that you're priced right, you can get a great buyer who comes in, pays you full price, and will be smooth and easy to work with. You can possibly still get yourself into multiple offers that way. When you price too high, consumers are smart and they know it, and they're going to go to one of your neighbors or one of the nearby competition.
And typically we do feel this slowdown from right around this time, that second week of August through, it really goes until about the middle to the third week of September.
It really does.
Yep. And then where we start to see that increase is October, November, and really December, right?
Yeah.
So we always say, you didn't miss the boat. You just have to kind of take this little temporary pain of not getting a ton of showings and activity.
You just have to stay patient with it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we have to sit here and do price reductions or anything like that. Sometimes you just have to stay patient through lower activity, slower showings, and wait for the market to pick back up a little bit.
Absolutely. And some of our best selling months, whether you're looking to sell as a homeowner or buying, has really been that end of the year, the holiday months. And everyone thinks it slows down, and we do videos every year on this. And it's not. Typically November and December usually rival between our third busiest,
if not second sometimes.
Yeah.
Getting your home on the market in October is fantastic. Let's get you on the market in October. Let's have you under contract in October or in November, depending on your market and everything. And let's have you close before Christmas. It's a phenomenal time with great activity. Your competition's typically less than spring, when most people think it's the number one time, and it technically is, numbers wise, the number one time, but you have less competition for you, but really serious buyers and sellers out there. It's a great time.
And let's then now go into the power shift, right? I mean, you were just telling me a story about one of our sellers that got an offer, I think yesterday or the day before, and You guys countered it back. Was it? And it was a pretty strong offer.
It wasn't.
Okay. Yeah. Walk us through that story. Okay.
Okay. So have a home on the market. It's only been on the market for 3 weeks. Nothing too crazy. This home is in need of a little bit of work. We did a little bit of work to get on the market, but a lot of that the buyer is still going to have to come in and do. And so still, we may be priced a little bit high, but it's one of the larger homes in the neighborhood. So we had to feel that out a little bit. So we got an offer. It did come in under asking price. And then when we countered back yesterday, ultimately the buyer ended up saying, we don't want to pay that much. And we're actually pulling our offer altogether and we're walking away. So of course, as the agents, we're going to see what we can do to work with this buyer, where we can find a win-win if there is one. That way we can see if it's still going to be a good opportunity for our seller, because we don't want any opportunities walking away. But that, especially in this neighborhood, there's a ton of inventory. There's a ton of competition. So these buyers have so many options that they're not messing around and not playing this game that they have to give the seller everything in the world that they're asking for. And that's where sometimes the buyer set the market, right? So even if numbers wise, it looks like we're priced right, if we have buyers saying we're actually not willing to pay that price for this home in this condition, the buyers are the ones who are setting the market, not always the past comps. And that's something we have to keep in mind too when working with them.
Do you feel that this shift in power right now to the buyers, do you think it's temporary?
No, I don't think it's temporary. I think it's going to only increase. They have more leverage and power than they ever have. And that doesn't have to scare you as sellers. Once again, just make sure we're always priced right for condition, upgrades, location, and your home will sell. It will always be a seller's market in that sense. But these buyers do have a lot more power and leverage. For instance, I just got buyers under contract about a week and a half ago. And I don't know how long they'd actually been on the market. Not too long, but I was able to. Can I talk specific numbers?
Just give us okay. A rough range. Yep.
I was able to go in and essentially get, let's say, 6% concession covered for my buyers, which we were able to use twofold. We were able to use it to cover their closing costs. So it limited how much out of pocket they were coming, which was awesome. I was also able to utilize that a little bit of it to help us buy down their interest rate. So besides rates already being phenomenally low just as is, we were able to take this a step further in conjunction with our lender and got them a 3.3% interest rate, which is phenomenal, which has them exactly where they want to be monthly payment wise when we initially started this process. But it has them at the absolute, actually, if I'm looking at it, we're like $15,000 over their top budget that they wanted to be at. But this home then had everything, and we had another strategy and solution in order to get them at their comfort payment. So
that's amazing. It
was still a win for the seller. Right. We still structured it in a way where the seller's net was still, even though it wasn't a full net based off the asking price, it wasn't as if they were coming $15,000 off.
And this is still something that we offer, hypothetically. This is still something that we offer, not just to sellers, right? That's one of the benefits, especially when we saw those interest rates kind of going up, is special financing, right?
Yes.
And we were one of the first to really start promoting how to structure these interest rate buy downs. And we're still doing that for buyers today, even with interest rates being as low as they are.
Yes.
Because if you can get down to the real low threes, that's if they stay in their home over 10 years, that's a huge savings over interest that they weren't going to get with any other agent or anybody else that thought about structuring that. So It's all about making sure that we really analyze and look at our clients' finances and working with us and really our preferred lender. And this is a great time to shout out Michael DeBacker with USA Mortgage. Does an amazing job of really teeing that up and explaining it to the client, as well as sometimes explaining it to the listing agent of what we're doing.
We absolutely have to explain it to the listing agent sometimes, and that helps make the deal work. But this is important to note as a seller. Most of our sellers are looking to buy again, whether they're upsizing, downsizing, whatever it may be, relocating. It's important to know if sometimes we don't make as much on the sale that we would want, or is there a way to make it up on the buy side? And this is just one of the ways that we're able to help sometimes recoup some of those costs for our clients when they go and purchase them.
Absolutely. And guys, we are in a changing market. We've been talking that for a while. So we do have the volatility there of when we go back in the beginning of the first quarter of 2020, it's going to shift temporarily into a seller's market.
Yeah.
And that's typically what we see a lot of times is it's better if you are going to buy. Now is the best time to really take advantage of buying through the last part of the year.
Yeah, because it's important to know that as much as there is cyclical shifts within a year, within every 12 months or so, it's still important to know that seller's market in 2020 is maybe different than the seller's market was the spring of 2019. So if that's something that you're looking to do, taking advantage of that as soon as possible, as the overall macro market is also in a shift. If you want to know more kind of about what we're talking about and how that's going to actually specifically impact you, please reach out to us, because we're here to be that advisor for you. But it is important to know that just because it's going to be a seller's market doesn't mean that you can actually maybe make as much as you can if I were to sell you now, the way that the overall market's trending.
Absolutely. And then we'll be back next week. If you've watched all the way through so far, go ahead. If you're watching live, type L down below. If you're watching the replay, type R, and then go ahead and hit us with any questions you have. I mean, when it comes to selling, if you're in a position that you need to sell, we definitely want to talk to you and really look at those options. If you're in a position that your lease is coming up or you're tired of renting, I am talking to so many renters right now, first-time home buyers particularly, who are paying anywhere from $1,800 to $2,300 a month in rent, and we can go in and
we get you a great home for that.
Absolutely, and that's a fixed rate. Your payment will fluctuate very little, and when it does fluctuate, it's because of your property taxes and insurance. So we can definitely help you with those as well, but you're not going to experience the huge upswings when it comes to getting a fixed rate mortgage like you do in your rentals, where it's more than likely it's gone up every time you renew.
Every single time.
So we will do a video talking about why, and we've done it before, but we really need to hit home on this, why you need to use a real estate agent when going to buy a new home. We just had a client who did not use one. We were talking about selling with them, and their payment shot up. I mean, it shot up over $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
That's
over $1,000 a month.
It's impactful.
And if they would have used an agent and really had that expertise on their side, they would have at least been more prepared for that, or would have had the lender help them kind of structure.
They probably honestly wouldn't have bought a home that expensive, based off the way the loan estimate was presented to them.
Absolutely. So if you have any questions, put a comment down below. If you're watching the replay, type R. We're also going to leave our information in the comments down below, so you can always go and follow us, through all of our social media platforms. But you can go to our website, thegoodhometeam.com, or you can call us at 972-215-7653. And we'll check back in with you guys next week, and we'll do a new video on a new topic that we probably don't.
New construction that
we'll do the new construction next week. So, all right, guys, thank you for watching.